Gold has continued climbing past its 2018 lows, but where is the next resistance level and what is in store for 2019? Joining me now is Peter Hugg, Global Trading Director of Kitco Metals. Pete, good to see you again.
Good to be here.
So, Peter, you called it when you said that gold won't retest the 1180 low before the end of year. So where's the next level to watch for you now?
Well, I think what we looked at back in August and then coming through into the fall when we indicated that we had thought gold and both gold and silver had put in the lows for 2018, we were looking at the Fed, and what I was looking at there was the Fed's hawkish tone for 2019, and I was probably one of the few guys that disagreed with that. I thought that the Fed would probably go in December. I still think they're going next week. I think from an optics point of view, if they don't raise rates at the next meeting next week, it's going to make the market think that the Fed is worried. So I think they go a quarter point in December. But as we said in the fall, we think the Fed is going to back off in 2019, and it appears that a lot of analysts now are indicating that the Fed is going to be much more dovish coming into 2019. And, given some of the more larger geopolitical issues such as Brexit and, the issues with the Italian financial system, we continue to hold the belief that the Fed is going to err on the side of dovishness in 2019, which should be negative for the dollar. And in that context, we're bullish gold, at least in the first quarter of 2019.
Okay, so next week, let's assume that they do go ahead with that hike. It wouldn't change anything in the short term, Peter?
Yeah, it would. I would buy into the hike. Right after the hike is announced, I expect, like always happens, that there'll be some knee-jerk selling. I would buy the dip. If we look at the last 3 Decembers, when the Fed raised rates, we had a rally right after the rate increase through the end of January. I expect the same to occur this time.
Right. So looking at the overall commodities complex now, Peter, I've had a lot of analysts say that we can expect gold to be one of the best performing stars in the commodities space in 2019. Where do you stand on this? Do you agree, or do you think there's another metal that might really be a breakout star here? Silver?
Well, our breakout stars for 2018, which we commented on throughout the year, were palladium and rhodium. And palladium doubled in the last 2 years, and rhodium's gone up some $1,200 in 2018. I think the continued uptrend in palladium and rhodium is going to depend a lot on global growth. So I'd like to see how the China story plays out there. I'm getting a little nervous at palladium now being north of gold, and so I'm very careful being long palladium here without a hedge in place. Now, as far as gold and silver, if we get a China resolution, which I think we will, I don't think Trump can afford to have the stock market collapse in 2019, and China is one of the main catalysts that's causing this volatility in the stock market. I think they come to some sort of an agreement, and in that context, I like silver to outperform gold in 2019. The ratio at 85-1, if there is a China agreement, is way out of whack. I expect that ratio to come back to at least 70-1 in 2019, and even gold holding at this level. And I expect gold to be north of 1,300 in 2019 first quarter. But even if gold held at this level and that ratio came back, that would take silver up at least $2 from current levels.
Peter, just a final thought for you. 2019 will also be the 3rd year of the presidency before the election. So wouldn't the administration want to create as much robust growth as possible in 2019? And what would that mean for gold?
Well, it's really a matter of what he's able to do. He will no longer have the majority in 2019. And if we take a look at what happened yesterday in the Oval Office when Trump and Pelosi had a conversation in front of reporters.
Well, if you want to call it a conversation.
Yeah, that was quite frankly, that was embarrassing. And it certainly indicated to me that the two sides really obviously don't respect each other, number one, but secondly, that they are far apart. So, if Trump wants to do something, he may have a shot at the infrastructure bill, because if the Democrats block that, I think it hurts their own constituency. But beyond that, I'm not sure how much more he's going to be able to push through with the Democrats against him. So I see a lame duck in 2019. Really the game is going to be the Fed. And if the Fed eases off and we start to get a pickup of inflation, especially if the China deal gets ratified, that's where I see the upside in the precious metals or the catalyst in 2019. And then also you have obviously the geopolitical issues with Brexit and the potential issue with the Italian banks.
Many things to keep an eye on. Peter Hug, thank you so much for joining us for this outlook.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching. We'll have plenty more for you on Kitco.com. Thanks for watching.